God, you're gonna hate me. I'm so sorry, but we have to cover this because I haven't seen it covered enough anywhere.
Yep.
Amir Locke.
Well, this is like all the gun nuts should be covering, right? Like
this guy. It's shameful. I mean, this happened on February 2nd. SWAT officer from the Minneapolis Police Department killed Amir Locke after busting into a downtown Minneapolis apartment at 7 a.m. And I believe they said within 30 seconds or so. I'm sorry, within 9 seconds. Ahmed had executed Amir Locke, shooting him three times.
Right.
Locke, who was sleeping on the couch when the cops burst in, wasn't even who they were looking for. He wasn't named on the warrant and wasn't a suspect in the case.
Yep.
And this has, of course, naturally set off a firestorm. So he had been armed, as if that somehow justifies them shooting him because he...
Right.
Right. He could not have reacted. Okay. A narrative contradicted by the cops' own body cam video, and I'm gonna show you what we've seen and what's been released. It's fucking horrible. Shows him lying on the couch, under the covers on the couch, being awakened by the cops storming in, and then being killed all within 9 seconds.
Awful.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of no-knock warrants in white neighborhoods is an excellent point made by one of our amazing chatters. But the latest moratorium announcement from Jacob Fry came only after police in neighboring St. Paul revealed after Locke was killed that it had asked for a standard search warrant, but that MPD had insisted on a no-knock operation, revealing that they were likely violating their own policies. Of course. Reminiscent of Breonna Taylor. Kentucky has only enacted a partial ban since. I mean, this is actually a really good piece by Left Voice, and I want to shout out to Adnan Ahmed, who has also been killing it lately. And I hate to use that word in this case, but his stories have just absolutely been on point, and I have to give a shout out to him. But his coverage of this is really spot on. Locke was murdered. His federal trial is wrapping up for George Floyd co-conspirators, or whatever you want to call them, charged with violating its constitutional rights. Again, this is a really hard story, and again, Kim Potter killing Dante Wright, and guilty verdicts have come back, yes, and the race of the cop and the victim were not lost on Minnesotans who began to demand greater police accountability, of course, in 2019, right?
Yes, they did.
So again, this is the movement against killer cops has grown. As it has grown, there's been a concerted effort by the ruling class to co-opt it, and when that's unsuccessful, to repress the movement violently. Repression of the George Floyd uprising and the subsequent co-optation efforts by Democratic Party-friendly nonprofits, all aimed at watering down police abolition movements, is evidence of this. Locke's murderer must be charged and convicted, but we cannot depend on the racist, quote-unquote, justice system to put an end to the irreformable racist institution of policing and the capitalist system it protects. For that, we must continue.
Yeah, the whole system.
So I have to give a huge shout out here to Unicorn Riot. Okay, and if you go to unicornriot.ninja, and it's a category /police, and I'm going to drop this in the Restream chat myself, and that's going to be across all the platforms.
Need to pump your audio to me.
Sorry?
You need to pump your audio to me, FYI. Desktop audio too. You can turn on.
How about that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Okay. So, category police, unicorn riot. This is all of the articles that we're going to read, you can actually find listed right here. Wow, that was a bunch of Discord alerts.
That was a Discord pings.
Yes, it was. How did that happen? How did I miss that? I guess I'm not in streamer mode. How did I miss that? How did we miss that? Good name for a show. Not in streamer mode.
Might have been mine, but I don't think my audio's.
It was me. So, category police, unicorn riot. Sorry, everybody. First is February 3rd, the morning after it happens. They're all over the case. And these guys, I'm going to show you a series of a half dozen articles that were written by Nico and the team over at Unicorn Riot. They have been on the ground. There have been protests. There has been some call for justice for Amir Locke, naturally and justifiably so.
Of course.
So they're looking at where it happened, and they describe exactly what happened. Okay, and here's the information that came out that Amir was a licensed gun owner, had a concealed carry permit.
Yep.
That the Minneapolis police were searching for 3 suspects to execute the search warrant, and he was not a named suspect on the warrant. They weren't even looking for him when they busted in. He didn't live there. He was sleeping on the couch at a family member's apartment when they busted in, and his family believes he was startled when they busted in and was trying to protect himself. So, and they need to release the body cam footage. So that was what happened initially. And again, these guys always bring the goods. Look at all the links that they have to the actual documents and you can see these are to uploads. 2 gunshot wounds to the chest and 1 to the wrist. And if you click there, this is the actual report. I mean, these guys, they do the work. So this poor, again,
I mean, they've been doing great work in Minneapolis for a minute now.
And not just in Minneapolis, but they've been moving all around. Okay, again, here's another one in Austin. Someone, Christopher Fiafonu. Boy, sorry if I butchered his name. I apologize for that. But he was also killed by an Austin cop. That was on December 23rd. So this is marking the 3rd time. What it was saying is 3 victims in 66 days by Minnesota police.
Ridiculous.
So that's the first article. Then you have the body cam footage released. So you have police officer Mark Hanneman yelling, and it shows them entering unannounced with a key, then yelling police search warrant while walking down a hallway, kicking a couch that Locke was sleeping on. Within 2 seconds, he rolled over, grabbed a gun, although never putting his finger on the trigger, and was killed by 3 bullets.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to the Breonna Taylor case, right? Where it's, there's, I mean, I mean, dude, I've lived in the South forever. The first thing they're going to tell you is that I have my gun for when someone walks into my house unannounced. Like, like.
Yeah, it says the video as edited has 2 slowdown sequences and a seemingly 100% speed replay. However, the last replay cuts out more quickly than the first 2.
Right.
I don't know if I have permission to send this, but when the mayor was asked why this happened, he said, I do not know. And then you've got your interim police chief that really did not instill very much confidence in very much of anything because they didn't know much of anything. And it's no bueno. And then here is the body cam footage of him sleeping on the couch.
Yep.
Yeah,
I already watched that, unfortunately.
I don't want to show that, but and again, and if anyone who
Yeah.
wants to see it and need, has the
Right.
need to see
Uniform
it for
riot.
any reason, it's here in Unicorn Riot, and then they want us to believe the person on the left was a dangerous threat. Personal right,
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily subscribe to that, but anyway,
I mean, it's
that's a whole other
this
story.
to me.
But this is just disgraceful, and yes, everyone in leadership
Oh,
needs to be fired. So here we go. So turns out this guy gave illicit drugs to protest. So now Dan Fight and Nico are starting to look into, well, who is Mark Hanneman and what's his
Who
deal?
did it? Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So it turns out he's like
He's a crooked cop.
a dirty cop.
Like,
Okay,
yeah.
so he was the only officer to fire. According to his file, he's gone through dozens of use of force training, SWAT trainings, and weapons training courses. Okay, so physiological effects, DRE theory, drug recognition expert. He took part in the statewide training program run by the Minnesota State Patrol. And then within the program, officers gave illicit drugs to people to evaluate their reaction. Wow.
Yep.
It was exposed and became a scandal, which led to state authorities to relocate the training to California. Okay, well, that's interesting.
And so they're saying that they just know when you're using, pretty much, that they
Pretty much they
have
can tell.
Yeah.
So, but even still, that's not why you shoot somebody.
Yes. I mean, of course. I mean, the fact that they get a fucking ticket to like have, they get a little diploma that says that they just, can like fucking force read someone's brain and, like what?
So
Anyway.
the officers would approach them and ask them if they wanted to get high without being arrested. If the person obliged, the officers would provide drugs and sometimes also a fast food meal. Well, honestly, that's so awful.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad.
After getting them high and evaluating them, though, he would drive them back downtown and frequently drop them off at the Occupy Wall Street protest at PV Plaza.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
What? But, huh? Oh,
What is that?
that's a weird thing, though. So, like, he was getting people. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's a weird part of the story. So, then you have SWAT officers involved in Locke killing have a violent and checkered past. Okay, so now you again. Right. Why are you saying officers? Because Mark Hanneman was still the only one that was involved in the shooting, right? And then 2 officers were involved in beating Julio. Okay, they're tying these things together. Amir Locke was a registered gun owner. Body cam footage showing the killing was released. Showed SWAT entering. Right, officers besides Hanneman who entered the apartment. I don't want to again. Here's their names there. You can see that in the incident report and on the website. There's a story about how he gave the illicit drugs to protesters. And then a little bit about the other guys that were in the SWAT team with him. And apparently, Unicorn Riot seems to think that this has significance to the case.
Jesus.
Okay, and then there's this guy who was filmed violently slamming an advocate for the houseless to the ground at George Floyd Square.
Yep.
Okay, on-site public media included their interview, which included, I remember that JoJo recounts the experience. I remember that.
Yep, me too.
I was like, yeah, during the whole forced the vote argument before the protest, but yeah. 10 complaints filed against him, with 1 complaint still open and all the others closed with no discipline. That's Officer Kyle Mader. Again, just looking into the background of some of these other people, and this is what happened. The 911 call, who took the call, all the actual reports themselves. Unicorn Riot does, again, an incredible job of getting the details. So here's where they're getting even further into the case, and it's the next day. It's okay. So now, how did they get to the no-knock warrant? And as it turns out, It came from Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill, who also presided over over the Floyd trial. Wow, that's pretty weird. Which amounted to a death sentence for Amir Locke. Although, again, did the cops know that guy was going to be on the other side of the door, sleeping on the couch with a gun in his hand?
Right. I mean, they never know what's going to happen when it's a no-knock. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Well, that's just it, right.
You can't know.
Right, and after reviewing it, activists say it reveals a discern. Why did they feel they need to do this with the no-knock type of thing? Okay, for a guy, again, that's not even named in the warrant, and they're going to go over. So here's protests down, and here is the full Unicorn Riot stream for an hour and 43 minutes, and this was on February 5th, and you could see that it brought out the community big time. Rightfully so. I mean, this guy's sleeping on the couch. They busted in. He doesn't know who that is, what's going on. He reaches for his piece. Doesn't touch the trigger, and next thing you know, he's shot 3 times.
Yeah,
and that's that's literally like execution stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like they even knew who he was. What?
Yeah, I mean, execute. I wouldn't say it's execution style per se. We're being fucking semantic on this, which we don't need to. But I mean, it's just the fact of like, look, it's almost like when people do think that guns are there to protect your house, they train to do that. Like, you know, they train to have this instinct to, okay, guns on the bedside table, like, where did I leave? You know, that's a thought process in people's heads, right? So for Amir Locke, this is instinctual to a point, right? Where you know, 3 crazy men get to just run into his, you know, the place he is like living in, essentially, and you know, he does what he would think is supposed to do. He's not even his prefrontal cortex hasn't even clued in that these are cops yet.
Oh no, you know that he knows it's cops because they banged on you know, they had a key. Somehow they had a key.
If you're asleep and stuff, and they just they bang on the door, say it's the cops, and let them tell you might not even heard that shit until they came in.
I know I would,
you know, right? Like, you know, and this is and as far as the cops are concerned, you know, they see someone reaching for a gun, and you know, like it's like the whole fucking thing is it literally, to me, is the system is the problem here. It's the fact that we've allowed a no-knock warrant without proper surveillance, without, like, you know, and that's what murdered this kid. You know, like, as well as the person pulling the trigger, because for one, the fact that you're going into a house over, what was the original warrant about, right? It's about, I don't remember what the warrant's about.
Right, what is the warrant about? Where they went after the three guys where he wasn't even one of them.
Right.
So were they in the house? Okay, here. They falsely claimed. Oh, here's the first thing, is that they besmirched this kid and referred to him as a suspect 4 times in their initial press release. Okay.
Right.
And they never, as far as I know, clarified that.
Right, I'm looking for killing their below. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Sorry.
I'm trying to look for.
Not a no warrant. Okay. It requested a standard warrant into the homicide investigation it was conducting, not a no-knock warrant. They requested MPD, and it was them who insisted on the no-knock warrant.
Right. Yeah, because they don't want to have to knock.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I mean, yeah,
Because they think
it's
that
just
there'll
like
be shots coming through the door if they knock.
right.
That's what they're saying. Again, here's Adnan Ahmed, okay, who actually had written that piece that was picked up, I believe, here in Left Voice. Look at that.
I mean, they're definitely not going to get reprimanded for this. Is the issue?
No,
You know, no
there
one
you go.
involved.
Recently compared Locke's
Like,
killing to the murder of Breonna Taylor, which sparked international outrage and cries to ban deadly practices. So, yes,
yeah,
nailing it. Okay, again, there's the Jacob Fry stuff where he, led the fight to ban no-knock warrants, even though MPD has sought 90 of them. This is an excellent thread here by Robin Garwood.
well, it's not like a knock warrant is that much better either. Like the
No.
they knock and then they throw a tear gas grenade through your window.
No.
Like, like they blow the door off. Like they knocked. Like,
Again,
like there's not much. Oh, go ahead.
So then you've got your February 8th protest coverage
About it, right? Which is massive.
Okay, student-led
Like
walk out of schools, National Solidarity Rally, which happened, and this was Wednesday on the 8th, right? Almost sure this is the 8th. Yeah. Again, Nico Georgiadis, kudos to you, sir. Give you a lot of credit for the org that you built and the way that you cover stuff, and
Yeah, dude.
it's thank you.
I've been watching for a minute. So.
Again, without coverage like this, we wouldn't know about this, and that's why we share it, and we're happy to amplify excellent coverage. Again, here's the link to the body cam footage and the community safety work group.
Yeah.
And then that mayoral candidate who quit the job after just 2 meetings because of the private nature of this community safety work group, that they're not really interested in fixing the problems, but it's more a political entity. Okay, then you've got more Move for Justice News, and you've got a Vigil and Family Community press conferences. Again, amazing coverage to collate and give you a complete picture of what's going on here. Messages in remembrance and justice for Amir painted on I-94. Street art.
Yep.
All over the place. Look at this. And then where's the one from the 11th? When I went to the first one here. Is this? Yeah, here. Hundreds marched to the building where police killed Amir Locke as well. And here's another rally, and this was on the 11th. They were live for the rally on March 8th. Again, look at
that's
the number of people. Families who've lost loved ones to police killings were in attendance. BLM Minnesota is not associated with the national BLM.
Yeah.
Their local chapter. It's heartbreaking stuff. Just murdered while sleeping. Yeah, sleeping while black is. Again, how the hell did this happen again, and keeps happening,
Yep.
Again, I didn't really see too many people talking about this story, and I thought it was really important because, again, it happens too often, and I don't want it to be swept under the rug. These people's lives, of course, are so matter, and it's this shit's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Yep.
We got to figure out how to make it stop.
Yep. Yep. completely agree.
All right. That was tough. Okay. So thank you, Ed. Ivan Reitman, R.I.P. to Ivan Reitman, apparently 75. He was only 75? It seems like he would be older than that at this point, but okay. Well, that's still too bad because he's definitely legendary, but so just to look at the chat and see who else is here. Welcome to whoever else is. Trans Marxist E. Heller, welcome. How are you? Eric, what's up? So yeah, maybe some kind of BS training for cops to identify when people are high. Yeah, that whole DT whatever. And was there a drug bust where undercover cops got arrested buying drugs from dealers who were undercover cops? No, I don't remember that, but it's probably in Baltimore because that's like some of the dirtiest cops. Yeah, the first Ghostbusters was amazing. Hashtag justice for Amir Locke. Thank you. And Cable 65. Absolutely. No knock equals cops playing soldiers. Yep, I think we have that. And then we should demand that everybody absolutely should be fired and there should be accountable. Just awful, awful stuff. Again.
Yeah. I mean,
had to.
It's just stuff that you like. You look at that and you're like, yeah, how could you have fixed that? You know, like.
Well, first thing is stop them from getting in there with a no knock. You know, like I just and not doing it at like 6 o'clock in the morning either. But that's I'm sure they have their tactics and their reasons, and there's 1,800 things that I don't know because I'm just commenting from New Jersey, and I at least know that. So. All right, so next.